Watching talks in Pakistan, Vice President J.D. Vance, Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner, they're all there right now, meeting with Iranian leaders in the room, the same room, face to face, to talk about Iran and opening up the Strait of Hormuz. The vice president has been warning Iran not to play with these negotiations, to take this seriously. And it comes as we enter the first weekend of that ceasefire. It's still holding, but it's fragile. Lucas Helmanson is live in Islamabad. He's there close by to where this is happening, and you're monitoring the talks. Lucas, have you heard anything, any readouts yet?
Not yet, Aisha. Both sides have been pretty tight-lipped, and those talks have stretched more than 2 hours before taking a break for dinner. Vice President J.D. Vance leading the American delegation with Iran here in Islamabad. Talks mediated by Pakistan, and the U.S. goals are clear. You mentioned some of them. Open the Strait of Hormuz, end Iran's nuclear program, and end the war. You asked President Trump about opening the Strait of Hormuz yesterday.
You're not going to let them toll the strait, are you? I mean, it's international.
No, we're not going to let that. It's international water. If they're doing that, nobody knows if they're doing that. But if they're doing that, we're not going to let that happen.
And perhaps that's one of the reasons U.S. Central Command said in a statement just moments ago it dispatched a pair of U.S. Navy destroyers to transit the Strait of Hormuz earlier today. And before the talks, Vance met with Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif. The President's Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner are also part of the delegation here, as you mentioned. A major player brokering the talks is Pakistan's powerful Army General Asim Munir, who essentially shares power with the Prime Minister. He met the Vice President when he arrived wearing a suit. He donned an army uniform when he greeted the large Iranian delegation led by the Speaker of the Parliament, Mohammad Galbaf, and Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi, along with his technical team for nuclear talks. Before the delegation arrived, the Speaker issued 2 ultimatums before negotiations could proceed: a ceasefire with Lebanon and the release of Iran's blocked assets. Today, Israeli jets carried out 200 strikes in Lebanon after J.D. Vance said he hoped Israel would, quote, check themselves a little bit. A short time ago, Lebanon's Prime Minister posted on X, quote, in part, "I have decided to postpone my trip to the United Nations and the United States in order to follow up on the government's work from Beirut." And he was supposed to come to Washington on Tuesday, Aisha, to meet with Secretary of State Marco Rubio at the State Department and also with Israel's ambassador to the United States. Aisha?
Lucas, it is very late in Pakistan right now, past 10 o'clock. It's seeming like the VP might have to stay the night. Are you getting any indications from the White House?
There are some indications the vice president could be spending the night here, of course, for security purposes. The U.S. delegation is keeping that very close. But the vice president is still here in Pakistan, and that says a lot that these talks have gone on for so much time, Aisha. So that's clearly probably an indication of a good sign on how these talks may proceed. Perhaps we could get some good news, and they could stretch into tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll see. Lucas Helmanson live for us in Islamabad. Lucas, thank you very much. For more on these negotiations, let's bring in House Intelligence Committee Chairman and Arkansas Congressman Rick Crawford. Chairman, thank you so much for joining us. I want to get to the talks in just a second, but at the same time, the White House alerting us, CENTCOM alerting us, that there are now 2 Navy destroyers, Navy-guided missile destroyers, conducting operations in the Strait of Hormuz. And basically, they're setting the conditions, Chairman, to clear these mines that have become such a problem for these oil tankers, these ships that are trying to go about and conduct business in international waters. This is an international strait, and yet they're afraid because there's mines all over the place. Give me your read on what CENTCOM just put out here.
Well, this is an important step in actually physically removing. This is not a political act. This is the physical act of clearing the strait, and that's going to require the EOD techs in the Navy that have the expertise to do that. So not only we have U.S. Navy divers, EOD guys, my brothers and sisters, but also the French and the British are contributing to that effort. And that's a very positive development that they're now hands-on helping out. You know, historically, the British and American forces have worked very closely together on EOD matters like this in the past. And so we haven't seen anything any close to this scale since 1988. Although we have seen mining before, but not at this scale. This is even bigger than 1988. And so the Navy EOD guys there have got their work cut out for them, but they're getting some assistance from British and French Navy divers as well.
Well, kind of follow up on that here, because we know that Iran doesn't have the capabilities to clear the mines as quickly as we would like. Do we have enough capabilities to go at this alone? I know we've been asking our NATO allies to pitch in and help because they definitely have minesweepers out there. We do as well. Wouldn't it go a whole lot faster if they just pitch in?
It would, and that's why I say that the news that the British and the French are contributing to the effort is they're very confident, and particularly the British, and so that will actually expedite this operation considerably. But again, this is a big lift. The type of mines that you're seeing there are acoustic, magnetic, pressure sensitive. So there's different kinds, and so they require. It's not quick. It's not fast moving, and unless you have large-scale minesweepers, we're going to rely heavily on those individual EOD techs that are, working under the water. Obviously, we have unmanned underwater systems as well. And in the old days, we used to have mammals that we would deploy, dolphins that would also help locate and help to destroy. But we don't use them anymore. But we use the underwater systems, unmanned underwater systems that allow us the capability to get after that with a little more speed. So it's not going to be a quick operation, but it's essential. And this is just where the heavy lift comes in of actually having those troops present to be able to offer that level of expertise and assistance.
Okay, Chairman, we just got some information sent to me by a senior White House official right now saying that those trilateral in-person negotiations happening in Pakistan between the vice president, Iran, the Iranian delegation, and also the Pakistani officials that are mediating is ongoing now. So I believe they took a break and now it's ongoing again. So I want to bring that to our audience that has begun again, and they're in talks, and talks are underway. It's very late, past 10 o'clock there. Give me your read on that, Chairman. Is that a good sign? Are you hopeful?
Yeah, I mean, if they haven't walked away from the table yet, we'll take that as a positive. I think there's some important things to note here. Number one, President Trump is the consummate deal maker. And the team that he has is an extension of, a reflection of his ability to make deals. So the three individuals there, Vice President J.D. Vance, Jared Kushner, Steve Witkoff, if there is a deal to be made, these guys are going to make that deal. Okay. I'm comfortable with that.
Well, we're talking about NATO a bit, and the President and Secretary of State Marco Rubio have both said that, when this is all over, you might have to take a look at our relationship with NATO, especially because they haven't really come to our aid, our help in securing the Strait of Hormuz just yet in the way that the President would like them to. This is Senator Andy Kim blasting the administration, saying, look, if we're going to leave NATO, it's got to be an act of Congress. Watch.
The president's attacks on NATO are some of the most reckless statements I've heard from any president about foreign policy. The president cannot take unilateral action to remove us from NATO. That is for Congress to be able to do.
Chairman, let me just ask you very point blank. If the president decides after these talks that he wants to leave NATO, would he enjoy Republican support on Capitol Hill to make that happen?
It's really too early to tell for me to be able to gauge that. I know personally, I think my perspective is I'm a little bit tired of NATO basically freeloading for the last 50-odd years. I mean, I've lived there, served there, and it's been something to see. Look, we provide all the resources, all the heavy lifting. We provide the economic impact to countries like Germany and others where we have a big military presence. And this is what we get in return, is that when we need help from them, they're not willing to. And here's the reality that nobody's talking about. I liken NATO, and you've covered Washington for a while, I liken them to the vote no, hope yes caucus. What they want is for us to do it and for them to sit back and say, oh, we didn't have anything to do with it, but they benefit from it. That's the easy way out for them, is for the Americans to handle everything, and they can sit back and condemn it, keep their fingerprints off of it. It's time for that nonsense to stop. They're either with us or they're not. And I think the president's calling that out.
Okay. Chairman Crawford, great to have you on the program. Thanks for joining us.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.